When I saw you last, Larry, I was at the start of my trip to Europe, so that was in May, I think, or something like that last year. And then I spent sort of 4 months travelling all over Europe and writing songs with people and having a terrible time, as you can probably imagine. And when I got back, I got back in, I think, October or something like that, and pretty much went straight on tour with Something for Kate, doing a tour with them, and I pretty much haven't stopped playing shows since I got back. I've just been travelling around. I did a tour with Mike Noga, did another tour of my own, did a house party tour recently, where I went and played in people's backyards and lounge rooms, and which was really cool. And then
so the couch is familiar for you?
Yes, very much so. And in between, just sort of worked on all the songs that I recorded, and you know, the EP sort of came out of that. Like, basically, I sort of had, I guess, what you call sketches, like, and I sort of traced over the sketches that I made on my little iPad recording setup when I was overseas. And so that's coming out, and I've just sort of been doing a big thing at the Dark Mofo festival in Hobart, a thing called Vandemonian Lags, which was a sort of a stage show based on a bunch of songs that Mick Thomas wrote for a project about, well, they're basically all about convicts that were sent to Tasmania. So that was really cool, and then stuck around for all of the Dark Mofo Festival and did some shows of my own, and yeah, basically been just travelling and having a great time, yeah.
Everyone's been talking about the Dark Mofo Festival.
Yeah.
I think there was an event called Saturnalia or something like that.
On Saturday night, yeah.
Tell us a bit, because this is the first year that they've done the festival, obviously a spin-off of Mona Foma in January, but tell us a little bit about, you know, how it all went.
Well, yeah, it was amazing. It's such an amazing thing to be a part of. I guess the theme was, it was called Dark Mofo, so the theme was, most of the events had a sort of a dark theme, and I mean, it was winter in Tasmania, so it's freezing. And everyone was like, that's a crazy idea, but there was sort of fire everywhere, you know, they'd have 42-gallon drums set up at all the events with logs burning and people huddled around them, and at the winter feast they had these giant sort of things that would shoot flames into the sky every 15 minutes, and which were actually, you know, pretty amazing. But the whole thing was amazing. I mean, where do you start? The Vandemonian Lags thing was incredible. I mean, I was working in a band with, you know, Michael Barclay, Mick Thomas, Tim Rogers, Brian Nankervis was one of the narrators, Jeff Lang, Van Walker and Liz Stringer, Andy Reid. I mean, it was an incredible thing to be a part of, and the shows were a massive success. And so that was the beginning, and then it just got better and better from there. I did like a secret show with Tim Rogers, which we only announced via text message, and wasn't sure how that would go, and that was really great, really. And he'd been practicing for the UMI did the first performance of Ali Daly and Hi-Fi Way as part of that tour. The first one was in Hobart. So I went to that on the Wednesday, which was incredible. Went to the Red Queen, which was the exhibition at Mona, the opening of that. Went saw the drones at Saturnalia, and Boris, and, you know, everything else. So yeah, it was just magical, you know, and I think, you know, everyone in Hobart loved it, you know, so as far as I could gather. So yeah, it was really good. So
fill us in on what we can expect from you for the rest of the year.
Well, the next 2 weeks I'm on tour, or currently on tour, doing the European vacation tour, and playing all over the place, and then I'm back overseas for 3 months, back to Europe to try and sell them the EP, and travel around and sort of go back to the places I went to last time and try and consolidate, you know, those, and because I'd really like to go back there every sort of 18 months, and you know, I really enjoy travelling, so yeah, and then back here and keep doing the same stuff.
Were there any places in Europe that seem to have a particular resonance with you?
I really loved Spain. I mean, it's just such a wonderful culture, and I really enjoyed the idea of going to sleep every afternoon for a few hours, and then going out at 10 o'clock at night. That sort of was already what my rhythm was already quite attuned to the Spanish one, but and also Iceland is a pretty magical place. But I mean, it was all incredible. You know, I had so many great experiences there. So yeah.